Hi everyone, welcome to week 13 of English 1302. Just got a couple of quick things to go over with you today, but they're really important. So I want to remind you that you're welcome to take notes as we go through this information together. First thing is the quiz. This is going to be the last quiz. Now, I apologize for the confusion. Your syllabus lists 4 quiz, but under the policy statement, there's only enough points for 3 quizzes. So we said a couple of weeks ago we would just combine the last 2 quizzes and have one big quiz over poetry, and that will be coming up next Monday and Tuesday. The last quiz will be open Monday and Tuesday, which I believe it's the Monday and Tuesday before Thanksgiving, which I believe is November 24th and 25th, and it will cover literally everything listed on the syllabus, including the vocabulary words. So be sure you know the vocabulary words. Be sure you reviewed that information on appreciating poetry. There's a couple of questions on that one. And then, of course, the poems, their authors, the main ideas, and their themes. Now, on some of the questions, it'll just simply be, which poem was about a rich, good-looking guy who killed himself? Richard Cory. Some of the questions will be like, which poem had the theme of death is a gentle person, gentle man, death be not proud. But so you need to be familiar with the information in a couple of different ways, and my best advice to you is simply this: read the poetry. You may remember that same phrase back when we started this unit, that you really just got to read the poem, and it's also repeated a couple of times in that PowerPoint called Appreciating Poetry, but it's certainly true here. Another way that you will be quizzed over the poetry is several points will say, which poem contained this line? Quoth the raven nevermore. And you'll need to know that that came from the poem called The Raven. So be sure you know the authors of the poems, the main ideas. Now, I won't ask you like tiny little obscure lines that nobody knows, but just like usually the first line or the last line, or if there's a major line which is repeated, like nevermore, then that will be an identifier that you should probably know. And the best way to know all that information is read the poems. I do not recommend that you just sit at your desk, straight back, head up, total quiet, and read the poetry. I encourage you, get up, move around, read the poems, read them out loud, read them silently, read them to your dog or your cat, although in my experience, cats are not big poetry fans. But yeah, share them with your kids or your little brothers or sisters. If you're mad at your roommate, you can read poetry to them. Just get up there and read them in several different ways. You can also have them read to you, because I'm a big believer on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube, especially the YouTube Favorite Poem Project or Favorite Poet Project, you'll hear lots and lots of good readings as well as good explanations. On the Robert Frost poems, Robert Frost, they have recorded Robert Frost actually recording some of his own poetry. He's got a unique voice, kind of gravelly, kind of deep, but unique inflection, and of course, who knows better how to read the poem than the poet? So I encourage you to spend a little bit of time on all of these poems, really learn them, be sure you know the vocabulary words going in, and you'll do fine. There'll be 50 questions, multiple choice, A, B, C, D, or E. The quiz is worth 100 points. We will be using the honor lock again, so be sure to have your ID ready. And also be sure you prepare the environment. You want a nice, quiet testing environment. And again, like I said last time, just pretend like you're in the classroom and don't do the things in your environment that you wouldn't do in the classroom. In the classroom, you wouldn't stand up and walk around. You wouldn't go get a drink of water. You wouldn't be talking on the phone. So don't do those things. Otherwise, it'll throw up a flag and you could lose points on the test. But anyway, but if you don't want to take the test being monitored by a piece of software which will flag any abnormal activities, including eye movement, yeah, it checks that, you're more than welcome to come and take the test with my class. My Monday night class starts at 7 o'clock. Now, we're not taking the test until the Monday we get back from Thanksgiving. So if you miss it, the Monday and Tuesday of your class, you're welcome to come in on Monday, December the 1st at 7 p.m. and take the test then. If you'll bring a pencil and a picture ID, I'll bring a Scantron for you and the test, and we'll do it that way. Okay? And then the same thing is true with the final exam. It'll be online using HonorLock and also offered in person. The in-person final exam, there's only 2 options there. It's offered Monday, May the 8th, and Tuesday, May the 9th. The tests begin at 5 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, and at 7 o'clock. If you need to come in a little early, I don't mind that. But yeah, the semester's starting to wrap up. Now, speaking of wrapping up the semester, you've got your last research paper. Please, 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 please be sure to go back and review the comments I made on your rough draft. The most common comment I made, and I should have just rubber stamped it on most papers, was you got to narrow the focus. You really got to zoom in. You got to focus like a laser beam. Because if you're trying to explain everything about enrollment management in U.S. higher education in just 3 pages, there's no way. So you want to focus in on something that's specific enough that you can fully explain it and support it using quotes from your research in just 3 or 4 pages. Because again, that's all you've got. You've got 700 to 1,500 words, so that's 3 to 5 pages. You do have to have 3 sources. Be sure that you cite them correctly. The in-text citation has the author's last name and the page number, no comma. Then the works cited page is an alphabetical listing of the sources you've actually cited in the paper, the works you've cited. That's your works cited page. And it's double spaced with no gaps between. I'll send you a link that will show you both an example and an explanation from the Purdue OWL. It's very helpful, very useful. But double check your formatting, get your formatting right. The formatting points, you're not going to lose a lot of points if you don't get the formatting right, but those are easy points. You don't want to be giving up the easy points. Make sure your essay structure is correct. Be sure that the last sentence of the introduction clearly tells me which aspect of U.S. higher education you're talking about. Okay? And what I saw on the rough draft is a lot of people would like start off with that main idea, or they put it like the second or third sentence of the introduction, and then they'd have a sentence after that. You don't want that. Now, I know what happens. You get to thinking about your topic, you get to writing about your topic, you put the main idea there, and then just a supporting idea, a good explanation just pops in your head, so you put that down. Save those for the body paragraphs. You really want to save all the details for the body paragraphs. The structure of the body paragraphs is pretty simple. You want to start off with a topic sentence, which of course supports the thesis. The topic sentence is normally followed by a quote from an acknowledged authority in the field, and then you just spend 2 or 3 or 4 sentences explaining what that quote means or how it supports your point. And on your main point, I'm not looking for anything in-depth or profound or world-shaking, just something simple. Enrollment management in private colleges in the Southwest is complicated, or the role of a community college president in Texas has evolved. Just, something like that. Not anything major, but you definitely do want to focus down. Don't try to look at the entire spectrum of higher education in the United States, because it's just too different. One of the strengths of higher education is that most colleges have a high degree of autonomy, meaning they get to pretty much make their own rules, which is great because it means the best can copy the best, and institutions can do what they feel best serves their constituents, their students, and but it also means there's a lot of variation. So they don't even use the same words for, some schools have a president, some schools have a chancellor, some schools have, I don't know what else. Some schools have professors, some schools have tutors, some schools have a governing board, some schools have a board of regents, like South Plains College, some schools have a board of trustees, some schools have a board of governors. It's complicated because they're all different, because they have so much autonomy, but that's what leads to greatness. That's what makes American higher education rise to the top of the world. And seriously, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you rank these universities from around the world, U.S. is always 6 or 7 or 8 out of the top 10, which is really pretty amazing when you think about it. But we have always focused on higher education in America. So anyway, narrow the focus of your paper, narrow, really focusing like a laser beam on your topic, one specific aspect of your topic. Make sure that's clear in the thesis. Make sure the topic sentence support it. Each body paragraph needs one short direct quote, and please don't copy 3 or 4 or 5 sentences, one sentence, half a sentence. You just want the idea to support it, but you got to pick the best sources. We are drowning in a sea of information. But if you'll use Google Scholar and do a couple of different searches, I know you get one search and you get 4 million hits, but if you'll do a couple of different searches using slightly different words like synonyms or simply rearrange the word order, you'll find better sources, more effective sources. And of course, you don't have to read the entire source. You just need to pull one sentence or half a sentence from an entire book or an entire journal article. So lots of times just the summary or just the appendix or just the executive summary is really all you need, or maybe just the first page of the chapter that deals with your subject. Please recognize this. One of the problems that you're probably experiencing right now is you're reading sources like books and journal articles which cover vast amounts of information, but you've only got 4 pages. So therefore, you've got to focus in on just one particular aspect of the topic. Okay, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, you can email me, although my weekends are usually pretty busy. I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible. Please remember that late work is not accepted, especially a project like this we've been working on for 5 weeks. Late work is not accepted, but if you get ready to turn in and it won't go through, you can email it to me. Now, you've got to email your paper to me. If you email me a blank sheet of paper or a page full of code, I can't grade that. So do your best to make sure your paper goes through. DOC, DOCX, RTF, PDF, although I'm not sure why people use PDF because you can't write in it. But yeah, and don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait until 11:55 to start submitting your paper, because at 11:55 that thing closes, and yeah, you're just without luck at that point. Okay, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk some more next week.